Good morning again.
Morning.
You're currently the only postulant in Anna, one of the only ones. How do you feel about that?
I had no idea, I didn't think anything of it. In a sense, it's exciting for me. It feels like God is up to something.
As you can imagine, to the outsider's eye, this could be quite incomprehensible, you know, seeing that a young woman like yourself, 35, I understand, you know, would dedicate her life to God in this way, you know, behind closed doors.
I think because there are so many opportunities out there and it's so easy to travel and so many things you can do. I mean, some nuns here have watched maybe, like one nun said last time, watched maybe 3 movies in her life. So it might seem odd, yes.
Yeah, you can understand that.
I can understand that, yes.
But it wasn't odd to you?
No.
At all?
No.
So, can you tell me something about your background? Where are you coming from? Because you're not 18, you're 35.
Well, I held a job for a number of years here in Malta, an investment management company. And then I kind of started to feel like I was seeking something, I didn't know what. It didn't feel like I felt uneasy about my life. Like something was missing. What it was, I had no idea. Thought maybe I should move abroad, and so I went to Poland for a couple of months. I did a programming course. It was a blessing. I found a job then in the Czech Republic. I was a web developer with a video game company, but I still felt incomplete. Anxiety even, I wasn't at ease at all. And I thought maybe, you know, I should give God a try, let's say. I said, God, if you exist, give me a sign. But thinking about it, like now, I really felt like I was talking to someone, not like an imaginary friend. Then I fell in love with God. For me, it was amazing. Like this God actually knows me and is actually listening, and that's amazing. One time I was before the Blessed Sacrament, and I said, you know, God, but there's still something like, and in this moment, I understood out of the blue. I mean, it was God communicating that He's calling me for a religious life. But on the other hand, I was shocked, and I'd like to say a little bit disgusted actually at the idea. I did not like the idea at all. And then I resisted it. I also had a boyfriend at the time, and then I broke up with my boyfriend, and then I was praying for a boyfriend. And I thought, well, this is not God's will. And I was quite upset. So God knew I would go through that, but He knew that ultimately I would overcome that resistance.
So what did you do in actual terms? You came and knocked on this door and said, I'd like to...
After that, I stopped going out and meeting people, and I was working from home as well. And my life was work and prayer. And then I started to feel this calling. I said, this is it. And I felt it was the right thing to do.
And how long have you been in here now?
I've been in touch with the convent for a year now. I spent 3 months of it visiting every weekend. I entered officially as a postulant in February.
Wow.
It's 8 years.
During the course of these 8 years, you will be inside all the time?
Yes.
Okay, so nobody ever goes out at any point for any reason except
if you need
health?
anything, of course.
Yes. And everyone you visit will visit you in this, everyone who visits you will visit you in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And your parents, how did they react to this?
Very happy.
They're very happy.
Yes.
Do you have brothers and sisters? Mm-hmm. Okay, and they all support you and they're happy about this, so nobody told you, no, don't do it, you're going to waste your life, you're going to go into a prison.
For people, I mean, this might be nonsense, you know? But for me, you know, being in communication with God, it's very real. It's even more real than anything out there. Everything out there will just fade away and, you know.
So it's mostly about loving God and dedicating yourself totally to God.
Yes.
Do you think that you could have put this vocation to a different use, where you could have been doing something maybe a bit more concrete in terms of helping others?
God can do everything himself. He doesn't need us to do anything for him. So we can accompany God, and that is more than enough. That's what it's all about. It's about purging you of your ego and filling up that space with God. Because the ego is like likes and dislikes. You know, I like this, I want to do this. Competition, passions, people are doing this, I want to do this, I want to do that. And being free of that is really freedom. I mean, I feel really free. I mean, I'm in the process of gaining more freedom, but that's freedom to me. You don't need anything else.
The way you talk is very inspiring. Would you consider, because you're a young nun with new, fresh ideas, will you be bringing something new to this monastery and to this community, or is that not your idea at all, or not the Madre's idea, or no one's idea?
Our vocation is prayer. That's very important. We preserve the time for prayer. That's absolutely important. But anything around that, I mean...
But if you had to send a message to a girl out there, like yourself, going through the turmoil that you went through, the anxiety, that feeling that something's missing, not being able to put her finger on it. When she does, she's almost repelled by the thought. Would you be able to tell her something yourself? Is there a message you'd want to send?
Just take the leap, trust God, it's exciting. And you are spending your time with the source of life. I mean, can you be doing anything greater than that?
Could you describe to me a day in your life?
We start with our 5:45 prayers. This is what a nun's cell looks like. And then we have our daily mass. This is the garden. We continue praying the liturgy of the hours, which is the daily prayer of the church. This is our refectory. Then we get our breakfast and everybody gets on with their day. This is the cloister. I get an hour of spiritual reading. I practice the piano and also helping out with the sickly nuns. We meet again for prayer at noon, go for lunch, and then we have an hour recreation, mid-afternoon prayers again, and then we meet for vespers again, and then again dinner and recreation again, and then our nighttime prayer. So,
to be sure. So when you talk about that recreation period after dinner, are you going to watch a Netflix movie?
Oh, no. We chat, sit and chat.
Do you have access to the internet?
Yes. It's very restricted. I let my superiors know what I've looked at, how I've used the internet. But Sundays, I check my messages and get in touch with people. I'm not gonna just scroll or...
What are your views about the outside world? I mean, let's face it, it's becoming quite a horrible place to inhabit. Can I ask you if this felt like a bit of an escape for you? Mm-hmm. You've gotten rid of all those
You will not survive
horrible
it. You will not, if it's not your vacation, you will not survive it. We are psychologically screened as well.
But you're stable and you're doing it for the right reasons.
You have to, because otherwise you'll make everybody else miserable.
Because here we're talking, these lofty, important thoughts. I don't even really care for the answer myself, but I think out there people might want to touch on this subject of celibacy. How do you feel about it?
Chastity is a grace, which again sounds like nonsense to not everybody can understand that. These things are hard to
Yes, and we're probably thinking more of the physical aspect of the whole thing, the relationship.
I mean, that doesn't really come into the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, but I remember something it's a very small detail. But I thought, this guy, because I mentioned I had a boyfriend at the time, I said, I seem to love him a bit like a mother. And I thought, and I really want to love everybody else like a mother. So, but what that meant. And then later it occurred to me, I'm like, well, a spiritual mother, really.
Now, I'm looking at you now, I'm becoming very thinking, obviously in here you wash your hair and you take care of it, but you're not tied to products and
I went through
I mean, how liberating is that?
Very. And I was very attached. I mean, I was obsessed with makeup. And in fact, those were the first things that the spirit led me to do. I stopped using makeup and I stopped using perfume. I loved perfume.
What was your
I loved
favorite
makeup.
perfume?
There's one, a Lady Gaga one.
Okay.
I don't remember. Valentino, it's called, I think, Valentino. I love that perfume. I mean,
Found it easy to shed them, though.
No, not that easy. I stopped looking at the mirror so much. But this was all a preparation for my time here, which I didn't know. We don't have that many mirrors here. We have one in the elevator. I have a small one, actually. Now I managed. At
what stage do you look in it? If you ever do? At what point do you look in it? If you ever do?
Before the interview, I checked if I have the areas sticking out of my head. So I don't know.
Is this the happiest you've ever been in your life?
Yes.
You're fulfilled?
Yes.
And why do you have to spend 8 years to make this decision, which is so rare and so important? Can't you just get going now?
It doesn't really matter.
You're still living
I'm
the
still
life.
living, yes.